Hi, this is Matthew Chan. I am the author of the Turnkey Publisher series, and in this video I want to share with you some thoughts about why I dislike the traditional publishing industry so much. If you read my writings and my articles, you'll find that I kind of rail against the traditional publishing industry. Now, I'm not saying that the people in the business is bad, but I have to tell you, a lot of what goes into traditional publishing is really, in my eyes, very antiquated. It's very elitist, and it really keeps a lot of people out. And one of my goals with the Turnkey Publishing series is to democratize the publishing business. Now, let me discuss some of the things I really dislike about the traditional publishing business. Did you know that in the traditional publishing business that bookstores are able to order as many books as they want and not pay for them? Okay? So they order what they think they need, they stock them in their bookshelves, okay? And then what happens is they return the books that they want and they pay for the difference. So it doesn't really matter if they overorder, you see, because ultimately they're not paying for the books. And not only that, when they return the books, there's nothing to say that the returned books actually have to be in new condition. If they get banged up or they're damaged in shipping or a page gets ripped out, you're still forced to take the book back. And if you don't want to take it, it's fine, but they're only going to pay for the books that they reported they sold. So that's one thing that I really dislike about the traditional publishing business. It is a consignment business, but I don't even have a problem with the consignment aspect. It's just that it's so abusive that it could actually bankrupt most smaller publishing companies. I mean, think about it. If you had to publish 10, 20, 30,000 copies and you ship them out, and out of the 20 or 30,000 copies, you get like 10 of it back, you don't think that you're going to go out of business or be hurt financially? That's a lot of books to get back. And that's a lot of shipping costs to cover. Now, another thing I really dislike is when you work with a lot of distributors and wholesalers and so forth, whatever the case may be, you don't get paid for at least 90 days. Now, I understand there's some situations that may be a little bit shorter, but it is not uncommon for a publisher to have to wait 60 to 90 days to get payment. And this is after all of the dealing with all the book returns fiasco. You understand that? So you think about that, if you're willing to wait that long to get paid. Another thing about it is you're going to find that if you're an author and you choose not to become your own publisher and you want to work with the traditional publishers, you're going to find that they're going to take a very, very big cut of the book. I mean, you may have done all the writing and you're probably going to do a lot of the marketing. And yet, they're going to take a monster share of the book sales. What I'm talking about is 50, 60, 70%. You're going to get a very small portion of it. Now, in some cases it is justified, but in many cases I don't think it will be justified. And the reason why I know this is because I'm a publisher and I know the economics of the situation. Now, another thing I really hate about the traditional publishing business has to do with the whole literary agent setup. Now, I understand why literary agents exist, mainly because a lot of publishing companies, they're not equipped to handle the bombardment of materials being submitted to them. I mean, they would have to hire somebody, you know, literally full-time, or several people full-time, just to go through all the submissions, because so many people want to get published. So there's got to be a way to weed them out. And so the whole role of literary agents is to have literary agents bring only the best stuff, things that they will stand by, and so forth. Now, which is good on the publishing side, except that if you're an author trying to get published, do you really want to know that only 5 to 10% of works ever get accepted by literary agents to sponsor to the big publishing houses. Think about that. Only 5 to 10% of all submissions get accepted by all literary agents. Does that make sense? Okay, and then even a small portion of that, which I don't really want to say because I don't know, but let's just assume just half of it, half of submissions, which is a very large number, get accepted by the publishing houses. I mean, what we're talking about is darn near Hollywood odds of basically getting a book out. You are going to have to fight overwhelming odds to get your book considered for publication. I don't like that. I really don't like that. And we have the good fortune of being born today where the technology has come far enough that we do not need traditional publishing houses to get our works out into the public. Now, the last thing that I really hate about the traditional publishing industry is I think there's just too much fat in the business. There's a ton of fat in there. It's almost like government, okay? When you go look in there, you can't, you wonder how they stay in business. And you wonder where all the dollars go. And part of it is that publishing houses pay an extraordinary amount of money to freelance contractors. I can't believe some of the quotes that I get when I go hiring a writer, editor, and so forth. They pay so much more, whereas I find that if you do extra hard work, make a little bit of effort, you can actually find some good talent without having to pay what traditional publishing houses pay for, the rates. It's incredible, the standards that the rates they pay versus what I am willing to pay. So those are the big 5 reasons why I dislike the traditional publishing industry and why I'm a big proponent of people who want their works published to go the extra step of forming their own publishing company. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and I hope to see you in my next video.